It is Monday, October 10th. After a crazy, wild weekend of sports, we've got results coming in from Saturday with college football. It was definitely an interesting weekend. Let's go to what happened on Saturday. So we had a rough best bets on our top four of the day. We came back with a decent top 10 total. So we broke even, went 5-5. We had our winners. Our losers, we'll start with those, was Wake Forest Army over 64.5. They only ended up with 55. Coastal Carolina and Louisiana Monroe over 57.5. They had 49. Alabama and Texas A&M over 51.5. They ended up with 44. Kentucky +7 over South Carolina. Carolina won by 10. And then we had Duke and Georgia Tech over 54. They only had 43. So we had a lot of low-scoring college games this weekend. Our leans for the weekend, out of all the games that were played in the FBS, we were 25-24. For the FCS, we did really well. We were 6-4 with winners. We had Dartmouth +4. They lost by 3, so it covered. Then we had Florida A&M +3 over South Carolina State. We had Tarleton State +2, San Diego -6, Arkansas Pine Bluff +9. Central Connecticut +7.5 winners. So go to our Facebook page and check out all our winners and losers for the weekend. And just go to our college football results page and you will see all the results. As for the best bets, the winners were James Madison -11.5 over Arkansas State, 42-20. Not a problem there. Then we had Wake Forest -16.5 over Army. Liked everything about that game, even the total. Boy, did they just stall out. Army couldn't put many points up on the board, and it just dragged, and we just couldn't get to that total. But we did have Wake Forest minus the 16.5, so they ended up winning 45-10. Then TCU over Kansas. TCU minus 4.5. We figured game day was going to be at Kansas. A lot of times when that happens, they go to these schools that are just coming out of nowhere. They go there, and it's almost like a curse that they put on them. Kansas couldn't withstand the TCU Horny Frogs, as I like to call them. And they won 38-31. So they covered the 4.5. Then we had Rutgers +3 over Nebraska, which was a Friday night game. Then Tulane -2.5 over East Carolina, 24-9. So that was our college football weekend. Basically broke even, paid a little juice, but those type of weekends do happen. Now, got a little. Come here. You want to say hi to everybody? Here, you want to say hi? Miss Kitty. She's not doing very well on her picks either. She picks anything that has cats in the name. Anyway, so as it goes for our NFL, we still got tonight to take care of. I did a write-up on all the prop plays for Monday Night Football. So we're waiting on the results there to give you our final results for NFL weekend. But I can give you our game time picks and wins and losses for Sunday. We had the Chargers, which for a while was -3. And just at game time, we got them at -1.5. People really started piling on Cleveland's bandwagon. And it brought the favored Chargers down from -3 to -1.5, which was a blessing because Chargers won by 2. It's amazing how Vegas can get these things right on the nose. The other runner-ups we had Tennessee by game time was -1 over Washington. That was a winner. Then we had Arizona. We had, let's see, Tampa Bay -8 over Atlanta. Let me check something here. So I think I had misprinted something here. Tampa. The final score on that one was 21-15. So Tampa did not cover the spread there. And Arizona +5.5 over Philly did not cover there. As our leans went, games that we put something out on each game. So whatever doesn't make our top picks, we throw leans on them, which way we're kind of leaning. Indianapolis, we won that one, +3.5 over Denver. Denver is just they're just a hot mess with Russell Wilson. I don't know what they're going to do out there. They got a good defense, but their offense is just sputtering under Wilson. So I don't know what they're going to do. It's got to be a very rough place to play right now. Wilson is not a fan favorite out there. Then we had New York Giants and Green Bay. Just I couldn't get past that large 8.5 spread. So we just went with the over 41. It was pretty low, and we hit that. But then we had Chicago, Minnesota under 44. It was over. Detroit +3 versus New England. We know the results of that train wreck. Then we had Miami -3.5 over the Jets, and what a mess that was. Jets just completely annihilated them. And Buffalo, I thought Pittsburgh getting 14 was where I was siding a little bit. I figured they would cover. I mean, in the NFL, anything double digits it's tough, man. It's tough to cover double digits, but the Buffalo had no problem doing that. And then Seattle, which I really liked, +5.5 over New Orleans. New Orleans just covered that 5.5 number. San Francisco, I liked a lot. Ended up at -6 over Carolina. Had no problem there. Dallas and Rams under 43. No problem there. And boy, the Rams are really struggling. Stafford is, brother. He had his year last year, but it looks like the Lions get their number 1 draft pick. Each week it looks better and better in both situations. Detroit, I don't know. The wheels are falling off there. And the Rams, they're not playing good football at all. And so yeah, it looks like two good draft picks for Detroit next year, the way it's looking. And then Friday night, we had actually Thursday night, we had Cincinnati +3 over Baltimore. And didn't have a problem there, covered that. So tonight, we've got KC -7 over Vegas. And the more I looked into this game, I found a lot of prop plays for you, even on Vegas's side, even though I have KC winning that game without a problem. Now, the best prop play we had was Devontae Smith from Philadelphia's receiver, over 3.5 receptions. Didn't have a problem there. And then the other 10 props I had 10 of them. I try to put 10 out there to give you guys a choice of a bunch of different things. We went 5-5. The winners we had was Justin. Wait a minute, let me see. I apologize. Hold on one sec. Well, let me give you them in order. Michael Pittman, Indianapolis, over 5.5 receptions. He only had 5. We were going for the plus money. We could have gone with 4.5 receptions, but figured he can just get one more reception, and we would get that plus money. But could not get that. Could not get that prop play to come through. Then we had Rex Burkhead, Houston's receiver, over 20.5 receiving yards. He did not get that. Garrett Wilson, New York Jets, over 46.5 receiving yards. Did not get that. Terry McLaurin of Washington, over 56.5 receiving yards. Winner there. Jared Goff, under 1.5 touchdowns thrown. We figured if they were going to get touchdowns, it was going to be from running. We figured New England's secondary was going to keep Jared off the stat book there with touchdowns. So we got him under 1.5, which they didn't get any points in the whole game. So that was an easy winner. Darrell Henderson of the Rams, over 33.5 receiving yards. I think he ended up with 20. Randall Cobb, longest reception, over 13.5 yards. I think he had one at 20, so we won that. Kyle Murray, under 253.5 passing yards. He ended up with 250. We won that. And Alvin Kamara of New Orleans, under 60.5 rushing yards. He had, I think, around 90. So it was a rough day with the props. Paid a little juice. But that is what happens in sports betting. You get a 50-50 day, you almost count that as a winner chicken dinner. You know, you live to see another day. Remember, this is a marathon, not a sprint. So it's all about the long run, guys. Now, Vegas and Kansas City tonight. This game, look on paper, looks like really what it is. Kansas City -7 over Vegas. It's pretty much stayed at this number. I don't see Vegas. I don't think they have a chance in this game whatsoever. I don't even think they're going to stay in it. The Chiefs, they're just simply rolling on defense. They're sitting number 1 in EPA. And they're facing a Raiders defense that hasn't really stopped anyone yet. Ranks 24th in EPA on dropbacks, 30th in yards per attempt allowed by the opponent. Has allowed the 4th highest rate of explosive passes and is 28th in pressure rate. It's just not a recipe for success when you're about to go up against Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and the rest of the offense. They got a ton of weapons. It's just, if you give Patrick Mahomes all the time in the world, you give him a chance to run, that offense can be just like we saw years ago, where they were just unstoppable. Now, the Raiders defense, every opponent has posted at least 23 points. And both the Cardinals and Broncos have scored their most points this season against the Raiders. And we just got done talking about the Broncos offense. Horrible. Cardinals offense is horrible. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you guys got a chance to see any highlights of the Philadelphia-Arizona game. That looked like a home game for Philly. They traveled all the way across the country. And you can go to any website, you can go to YouTube and check out it was just all decked out in green in that stadium. They were booing Murray when he was called out. I mean, that's your home field, and they're booing you already. Ay, man. What a mess. But anyway, Cardinals and Broncos they both could put points up on the Raiders defense. So just imagine what Mahomes is going to do tonight. I don't know. It could get really ugly really fast. And you're getting this line at -7. It's just, I think why it's not higher is because it's an in-conference game. It's kind of like a Minnesota-Chicago, one of those type of, you always get a good matchup when you got two teams that know they need that win, but I don't see this thing being even close. I do have a best prop play, and it's a strange one, and I can't find it on Bet Online, and I've searched high and low for it. So you're going to have to shop around for this prop play, but it's longest field goal under 47.5 yards. The Chiefs alone are going to turn to their third kicker of the season. His name is Matthew Wright, now, who has made both of his field goals attempt last week, but neither was from 45 yards or longer. Now, on the Vegas side, Daniel Carlson has attempted just 2 kicks of 40 yards. Now, with teams more inclined to go for it on 4th down instead of a long field goal attempt versus the Chiefs, opportunities could be very sparse Monday. The Chiefs have only seen 4 field goals against them all year. So, I mean, do your math. Chiefs are on their third kicker. Chiefs have only seen 4 field goal attempts on them all year. I just think the odds are, especially if KC gets on them fast and gets them in a big hole, the last thing they're going to be thinking of is field goals. So there's just a lot of things that go along with that prop play. It's really a good one if you can find it on your betting site. Isaiah Pacheco, Kansas City, over 20.5 rushing yards. These are leans I do like. I feel Isaiah is the number 2 running back. He's he's sort of like a Chubb and Hunt that is in Cleveland. And if KC is smart, they are going to let this guy get a lot of carries. And if he keeps getting 5 yards and running like he has been all season, it's been averaging about 5 yards a carry. Trust me, one more big game and you won't see this prop this low ever again, because the market is going to catch up to this guy. Honestly, I won't be surprised if he busts one for 21 yards and wins this just on 1 carry. But as long as he'll get 4 carries, Bleacher Bum Sports should win this prop. This is one of those props that I stand by. Our team here stands by it. Hopefully KC is smart and lets him get 11 to 12 carries, as he has shown this team that he may be the steal of the 7th round. It's a great rookie pick here, guys. Take the over on Isaiah and let's enjoy this game. And another winner, as you will remember his name for the next week and probably the rest of the year. These are just one of these guys that they're keeping these prop plays real low on this guy, and I don't see it. I think he's going to bust out a big one today, and we're going to hit it. And I think Patrick Mahomes over 275.5 passing yards I think this should be a breeze also. He's thrown for 664 yards in the 2 meetings against the Raiders last year. Completed 74% of his passes. BBS is projecting roughly 300 passing yards for Mahomes tonight. If this low-pressure Vegas defense can get off the field versus Russell Wilson, then Mahomes and a very healthy receiving corps are going to do some serious damage. The Raiders currently rank 25th in EPA dropback. That includes Wilson, Tannehill, and Murray over the last 3 weeks. his passing yards total has closed at 280 or higher in 3 of his 4 games this season. So even this total of 275.5 is a discount. Again, this has a lot to do with playing in this in-conference type of game. They just think a lot of these stats are going to be lower. But like you saw last year, he had 664 yards against the Raiders last year. I don't see very much that has changed from last year to this year. Now, Vegas does have one prop that I did see that I like, and the only reason I like this is because Vegas, I think, is going to be playing from behind most of the night. So when that happens, you have to start looking at their receivers to get a lot of the play. It's where they're Kansas City's going to do that prevent bullshit. They're just not. They're going to not let them get the big play, so they'll chip away at them. Let Vegas, do what they got to do, but they're not going to let them in that red zone very often. So that's why I like Devontae Adams over 78.5 receiving yards. I think he's going to get around 95 to 100. It's all because Carr's going to be playing catch up. I had him, like I just said, I have him projected for about 95 yards, and his current total of 78.5 is 9 yards shorter than it was last week in a very tough matchup against a good Denver D. Denver sucks, but their defense is very good. David Carr threw the ball 80 times in the 2 meetings against the Chiefs last year. And another heavy volume passing game could be in store with this bad Las Vegas secondary forcing Carr into chasing points. He saw 13 of Derek Carr's 34 passes last week. He's pretty much his top receiver. Carr loves targeting this guy. And he did see 13 of his 34 passes last week against Denver. And most of them came against star corner Patrick Surtain too. Now, he could see most of his snaps against L'Jarius Sneed, I think his name is, who allowed 9 catches on 12 targets versus the Bucs last week. So if he's getting 32.4 target shares on the season, it's hard to pass on him tonight, getting over the 78.5 yards, as I truly believe he's going to pass 100 yards while Vegas chases them all night. So there you've got your NFL tonight. I didn't post this. I was kind of going through some more of the prop plays, and their first quarter, in the NFL, quarters go by really quick, and a lot of these teams get a couple shots a quarter, pretty much, maybe 3 at the most. But I did notice the first quarter spread for Kansas City, I would have thought would have been over under 7.5 points for the first quarter. But it's staying at 6.5, meaning you just got to get it. I think Mahomes can go down and get a touchdown to Kelsey real quick in this game. I can see an after first quarter 7-0, 7-3 maybe. But I really believe that Kansas City is going to start this game off and put Vegas on their heels quick. I do like Kansas City over 6.5 points for the first quarter. The first half, I don't know. It's 14.5, and even though it could easily be a 24-3, 24-6 halftime lead, that 14.5 scares me a little bit. So, I mean, who knows? It's these in-conference games that we talk about that put up these warning signs. Even though I do think they'll do it, I wouldn't bet on it. I like the first quarter over 6.5, but that half was 14.5. So that's out there if that sounds good to you. And we don't have baseball till tomorrow, where we have Philly and Atlanta. I will do write-ups on these games for tomorrow. Without explanation, I do like the Braves in game 1. It's at 1 o'clock, so check out our Facebook page early because it's an early game. It's a 1 o'clock game. Max Fried is going for the Braves, and I like him. I like the Braves at -1.5. You're getting plus money with that. Plus 106 for -1.5. And then later in the day, you've got Seattle and Houston. It's my Mariners, man. But I think they're going to get popped here. I think Luis Castillo's pitching for the Mariners. Verlander's going for Houston. I think the Mariners are going to get popped here pretty good for game 1. Then they might settle in. Hopefully they do. That's who I'm pulling for. The over and under for the Astros is 6.5. I don't like it either way. I'll post something on it, maybe somewhere where I lean. If I had to lean, I guess I'd lean on the under, but I'll have to look into that a little bit. And then tomorrow at 7:30, you got an interesting Guardians-Yankees matchup. And New York, at the end of the season, had just not been – I think they were so focused on Judge's home run record that they just lost track of everything that was going on, more worried about that than their wins. So I don't like the way the Yankees have gone into the postseason, even though I think Dodgers and Yankees would be a pretty awesome World Series. I kind of like Cleveland plus 1.5 here. I really don't like the baseball where you're taking the underdog and you're taking this goofy 1.5 run thing. But I could see Cleveland making this a close one simply because I don't like how the Yankees ended their season. So Cleveland plus 1.5, you're only -126. I don't like to go anything over 130 to 130, 140. I try to keep it reasonable so you guys can make your money. But this one kind of stuck out a little bit. Cleveland plus 1.5 might be all right. And I like it more because the over and under is only 7. So I'd probably go with the under there. And I don't think I mentioned the first game over and under. The Phillies and Braves is 7 right now. I do like the over on that. I think those teams can give up runs. And I could see this going to a 5-3 game, 5-4 game type thing, 6-4 maybe, because I do like the Braves winning by more than 1.5. So we definitely got some interesting games for tomorrow. I will get you your results for Monday Night Football. I will have those posted tomorrow after tonight's game. So let's have some more of our winning ways tonight. Let's finish off the weekend on a good note. Let's get that NFL our record back up there where it belongs, and let's just enjoy the game. Hopefully Kansas City has a great night and Adams has a good night on the Vegas side and gets those yards that we need. All right. Well, hopefully JC will be with us tomorrow. I got some killer stories I'd like to go over with him on, and and we'll bring you back some more plays for tomorrow. starting with our baseball, and maybe give you some early pointers on some college and pro football games also. All right. I will see you tomorrow. Enjoy the game tonight.